Welcome to It's Just Middle School with Sarah and
Kelly. If you're joining us for the first time today, we are two fabulous veteran middle school teachers with middle schoolers of our own that love talking about middle school.
Our passion is to support parents and educators in understanding the middle school years through research, experience, and casual conversation.
If you're returning to our show, welcome back.
Let's jump into this episode's buzzword, AI.
Artificial intelligence.
How is it evolving in education?
Why do we have to be cautious of it in middle school?
Whose work is generated under AI? Is it plagiarism?
AI, is it your glow up or your glow down?
Scenario 1. It's late. The family has just returned home from a victory football game. Your child slams himself down in the chair and pulls out his computer. Please don't tell me you have homework now. It's 10 p.m., you think. You ask how much homework your child has, and they say they have a research paper they haven't started yet, and it's due tomorrow. It's ChatGPT time. You don't even think twice. There are more important things in life than turning in a paper.
Or, as a class, we have been working on developing a research paper. As a teacher, you have gone through all the writing steps. Students have brainstormed, drafted, and peer edited. Students have had conferences. Students have submitted their sources. The research papers were submitted last night, and you scroll through the submissions. One caught your eye immediately. A 7th grade student has completely transformed as a writer to express himself in 19th century vernacular, the kind of vocabulary and syntax that shows mastery and command of language, a mastery that hasn't shown itself all week. All year. Wilt thou accept this profound display of exceptional verbiage from the 12 years of age genius who has not only captivated the bard's depth of study in the debate of school attire, but has also captured his layers of metaphor breathed into every single word? Thou wilt not have it. Not today, ChatGPT. Not today.
Scenario
2. There's a big math test coming up, and you notice your child is stressed out because they do not feel comfortable graphing inequalities. You remember hearing about programs that can create and help you solve problems. You pop onto an AI program like Problem Solver or ChatGPT and ask it to create 5 problems graphing inequalities. You also ask it to include the explanation and show the steps used to solve the problem. You sit down with your child, and together you're able to review and relearn the steps to help your child be more comfortable and less stressed about the topic on the test.
Or a student is struggling and there is only 5 minutes left of class. You know they will not be able to tackle the original assigned homework independently. You open up ChatGPT or another AI tool and ask it to create 10 problems on inequalities, the first 5 showing how to solve one-step equations, the next 5 showing how to graph them. You then prompt the program to give step-by-step instructions on how to solve each problem alongside the problem. You print it out for your student and ask them to try and solve each problem using the steps provided. You're pretty proud of the individualized instruction you were able to produce in a quick manner of time for the student to be more successful in this skill. Yay!
Woo!
AI has been around for a long time. Generative AI, however, has been around for at least 2 years, going into the 3rd year. And the conversations around how it is included in education are vast, varied, and current. There is current conversation on how it gets included in curriculum.
Right. We use it as professionals. We use it personally in our daily lives. But when is it the right time to use it and introduce it to students? The understanding is that AI is to complement learning, enhance the student experience in their learning journey. It's making learning more engaging, more accessible to every student. It's a time saver with potential to create quality content faster than, the average brain really ever could do. But when we're talking about brain development in our children, what are the AI ramifications? When we're introducing this, what are we losing in its gain? If AI can think for us, do we let it? Do we not need to actually know that content anymore? If AI can make words smarter, our products better, and our processes faster, then what is the actual harm?
Yeah, educators across the United States face a tremendous push and urgency to use AI in the classroom for themselves as professionals and for their students as early as possible. The most recent data has been that 52% of teachers currently have not even worked with AI at all, while students are constantly working with AI. So you have a gap between educators and their students. AI is the means to many in which traditional models of education change completely. It wasn't COVID that started the opening conversation of restructuring schools, it's AI. COVID just was the door, really, for AI to finally sneak into the classroom as this tremendous force of possibility and promise. But let's pause and think perhaps what the dangers are to introducing it as a reliable tool for learning, or more so, a personalized assistant for our middle schoolers specifically.
Right. Middle school is a period in their academic world where students are learning to learn. We need to be cautious when we give them AI tools that do the learning, because it's taking away that critical thinking and learning process.
When we use it as a way to help students learn, it can be beneficial. As shown in scenario 2, a parent was able to create problems with a helpful guide for them, explaining a confusing concept for their child. A teacher was able to create an individualized practice paper in minutes, focusing specifically on the skills that child needed at that moment. These are both avenues of AI that can assist learning. Notice there has to be more than just using it to solve answers for students, and on a long, painful night that might be tempting, but we want to remember to model and use AI with middle school as a prompt for the understanding behind learning.
And now, for a wee bit of research.
A warning from Ray Bradbury and the parlor walls of Fahrenheit 451. Books are meant to be porous. They show the pores in the face of life. The comfortable people want only wax moon faces, poreless, hairless, expressionless. We are living in a time when flowers are trying to live on flowers instead of growing on good rain and black loam.
Unquote.
Unquote. We start the conversation and the research of AI with the Bradbury quote because it's kind of similar to what we're experiencing with AI in some ways. The flowers on top of flowers. The idea that AI is, in terms of writing, is cultivated through past writers. But the past writers struggled in crafting their writing. So if we don't struggle and craft our writing, are we not just adding flowers on top of flowers and not growing that strong writing with good rain and black loam?
Well, right, because you're basically just taking other people's things and making it your own. You're more of a parasite than you are, right? You're not giving anything in return. Like, you're not adding anything necessarily when you're using AI, and maybe that's a negative. Maybe not everyone might agree with that statement, but according to this quote, I think that's the comparison here. Like there's the kind of reference of the flower on flower. You're not understanding how to live and grow in your own soil if you continuously rely on other things.
Right, and at some point, that first flower is going to die, right? Because it doesn't have the nutrients to keep it growing, and it's just holding that second flower that reflects it. But at the same time, the other part, and when you talked about that there might be disagreement on what AI can do, and that it's the ownership of it, that is a big piece of debate, because some would say that they've prompted so often and crafted so much in building that composition piece through ChatGPT or through other AI programs that they now own it. And so because they toiled with it and managed to prompt it enough, then is it theirs?
And I think there is truth in that. However, I don't think our middle school students are there. And that's where the should it be used in middle school topic that we're really hitting on comes at, right? Because our students are just learning this process so much that until they learn, and again, this is going to take some professional development on teachers' part, because they know more than we do now. Like, a lot of teachers don't have the practice in how do we get them to ask the right questions to create what we want them to create, rather than just say something to regurgitate something that they could write on their own through a writing process. And there's where AI really has to develop some more. The learning around AI, the curriculum around AI really has to take place in schools. And I think it's going to come. I mean, it's definitely going to come in the next couple years, I would imagine. And there's programs out there already, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's Magic AI and there's Flint programs for teachers, but I was staggered by the statistic of 52% of educators don't use or know how to use AI in their classrooms or as professionals. So there's like a
That surprises you?
That surprises me.
Really?
Because, well, yes, because it's so prominent in our lives. You can't go anywhere professionally or personally without.
That's because Sarah's a millennial.
I'm very much a millennial. I am very much. But you can't go anywhere without it in your face in some way, shape, or form. There's a commercial out there, and I forget what commercial it's for, but there's they're in a cubicle scenario of a business, right? And you have someone that is really struggling to write a difficult email to his boss, and he's all disheveled looking. He doesn't look like he's the best employee on the planet. And then he uses AI to draft a elegant and eloquent email to his boss over a difficult conflict that he had been facing. And the boss opens up the email and he's like, yeah, that sounds so great. Good job. And warrants the disheveled employee whatever he was desiring to do. And I'm like, but isn't that cheating? I feel like that. And so it was a commercial promoting that disheveled employee can be on an equal playing field to his peers with the use of an AI platform in the business world. And, I have my opinions about that, but at the end of the day, that's true. I mean, you are equalizing the playing field regarding written composition.
Right. I still would think that there's a good amount of teachers out there that wouldn't know how to do that same thing in that video with the disheveled employee.
And those conversations of where to introduce AI is going to be fairly interesting because I think it's going to come down to middle school as somewhat of a starting spot, whether that's 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade.
Because they're already using it.
Yes.
And that's they know so much about it. And I think that's where a lot of teachers get a little anxious.
Yeah.
Was when the student knows more than you about things.
Yeah.
It's always a little scary. But we also have to embrace that because they can teach us a lot about it too. If we let them.
Yeah, more. They're one of the major speakers on AI within the classroom is Daniel Fitzpatrick, and he has a book called The Ultimate Guide of AI in the Classroom. And what he talks about is the 3 benefits of AI that if there's ever like a concern of machines taking over the world, he goes through the 3 tiers which make human composition untouchable. So it's the idea of enhancing creativity, it enhances emotional intelligence, and it enhances critical thinking in human beings, pushing them beyond sort of the framework of any given assignment. So no machine can touch those three aspects of intelligence yet. But AI integration in the classroom carries an overwhelming possibility of engagement for students, where teachers can use AI generated historical figures to discuss their lives and answer questions from students, where Magic AI can immediately create epic rap battles between Shakespeare and I don't know who the most current musical artist is.
Yes.
You name it, and they can create, and they can do so in sonnet form, or they can, in terms of math, they can use photo math, and it can snapshot a problem and work it out, showing step-by-step instructions and how the answer was derived. Ginny Rometty is one to say that artificial intelligence should be called augment intelligence instead, for that is the promise it can bring, right? Like it augments what we experience as human beings. So what do you
And
think,
I see
Kelly?
that a lot.
Yeah.
I like the augment intelligence reference, actually, because a lot of those I feel like you are taking the same place and just inserting some technology in it, versus recreating a space. Like augmented reality is like Pokemon Go. Like
Right.
you're still in the same environment. You're just enhancing it with a digital personality per se. And I do I kind of like that. I get that point a lot. And how do I see it in my kids and my students?
Yes. So do you see that AI is augmenting their intelligence, or do you see AI is confusing or muffling what defines intelligence?
I think we're still in the confusing stage.
Yeah.
In most of it. In fact, we just had a conversation the other day where I had a student say, well, can't I just go home and photo math these problems? Like, what's the difference in that? And like, it was like, and I appreciated the conversation, actually. I appreciated the question because it led to some great conversation. And it led us on the journey of, well, why is that not a great idea? Like, it is awesome that it is there. And if you are using it to assist you because you don't understand, then it's an awesome tool. But if you are using it to do an assignment that you don't understand just to get it done, then that's not great, because you are still going to be held accountable for that knowledge.
Right.
We still have to assess you on it. There's still going to be a test. And unfortunately for you, photo math or whatever program you want to use, it is not going to be there on your test. So just trying to rephrase it and help them realize that the programs that are out there for AI, at least for math purposes, you can't rely on them to do the information for you. You have to be able to use it as a tool to help you.
Right.
And I think that's where, for our middle schoolers, we really need to help them get that mind frame. Like, it is not an avenue to go toward to do something for you. It is an avenue to use for you to help assist you to get better.
Yeah, and I think that's also a switch in conversational language with technology that we've experienced growing up and that our children are experiencing now. I think growing up, every technology was a tool, and now we're using this framework of AI being an assistant and a collaborator in their learning, and not the control is not in the hands of the user. It's more as much as you would with a tool, but this idea of having like a soundboard for ideas that is...
It's ultimately like another personality you're dealing with.
Yes, and that's really, really different than previous platforms, previous technology instruction that has been in education in curriculums for the past decade. So I think that is something that certainly needs training for teachers, to how to shift that mindset of tool to assistant and or collaborator. But I also question, though, when it started in middle school, because there is a lot of losses that I'm seeing pop up in written composition or in just thinking for themselves. Like for example, in the math problem, there's a temptation to immediately go to an answer. Every middle school student is always going to be tempted to go to that immediate answer. Even before AI, they want. Now this just augments it in the wrong direction, right? And so, I worry about that.
Give me the solution.
Right.
It's just creating more instant gratification
Right.
in a way.
Yes, and it's a crucial time for middle schoolers because you have that metacognitive development in these years from 12 and 15 that they develop their metacognition, their ability to think about thinking. So I had a hard time before AI coaching reflection processes, how to reflect well, to think about their learning. You know, why did you do X, Y, and Z, and what could you do better? Very simple questions, and that you didn't really get that quality of thought with those answers until maybe 8th grade. Because 6th grade is very, very literal.
Yes.
7th,
I don't
think about the
see
brain.
this answer. Well, you have to infer a little bit. Like you have to read all the paragraph and then make your best choice. It's not word for word anymore. Yeah.
Right. Where can I find this answer in the text? Right. And I think this can augment that kind of thinking. And so I want to ensure, I want to have some sort of assurance that what I'm doing with AI in the classroom is augmenting their learning and not augmenting in a way that's negative to their learning, right? That's going to just fuel the instant gratification.
Right.
And I think you get that with like the AI programs like Magic AI that creates for engagement. And it's such a bummer when I can do it in 2 seconds to get a sonnet of Taylor Swift and Shakespeare going, when I think it would be far more effective if a student did it themselves.
And they had to figure out the process and the rhyming and really be like, okay, is this a sonnet? Like,
Right.
am I following the process of it?
Right.
There's something that they gain in that moment.
Right. And there's joy in the play of language. And I get the manipulating of a prompt to get what you want out of the composition of AI. I get that on a professional level. But what I don't understand is the loss that could come from, in middle school, from a student that doesn't get that experience of playing with language, word for word in their own voice.
And I think it's one of those, we have to be careful when we allow students to use AI for the purpose of, is this taking away from their experience or is it enhancing their experience?
Yeah. Like I can see generative AI regarding images very, very well in English class, because I always get students that are worried about the presentation of whatever project we're doing. And it's not about the artwork, it's about the ideas behind the artwork, right? And so I can see it, but I would hope that an art teacher wouldn't have them use these generative AI over images when they are learning how to stencil in a certain way, or to so it's kind of like where one aspect of AI works for one discipline, it might not work for the other.
Work for all. Exactly. And I think that's where more professional development is going to come into place, and how we can best use it in the classrooms to make the kids more successful. And again, it's about that balance. Where's that balance in being more productive and allowing the creativity and learning to still take place?
Yeah. And Matt Miller's AI for Educators text, he talks about that navigation of placing ownership and being very, very transparent on what the expectations of AI are in the classroom, and giving opportunities to say, okay, on this assignment, there's no AI that we're going to use. On this assignment, maybe we'll do some. And then you can absolutely use AI with this. And this idea of a stoplight scenario.
I really liked this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, you have to, I think there's the preference of you have to teach what these scenarios are. Like there has
Right.
to be,
Like you're giving the parameters
right,
of your
like-
classroom instruction regarding AI. At least for now, I think as the conversation continues, I think more guidelines will be in place as we see where the pitfalls are and promises are. If it delivers on that promise of augmentation, or if it delivers in an augmentation that we don't want, that's not beneficial.
right. And I think this red light, green light scenario is a great place for teachers to start.
Yeah.
Or even parents to start.
Yep.
In a way, because you can be like, okay, what did your teacher say about using AI on this assignment?
Yeah.
Like that may be a new conversation that happens in the house. I mean, this is a different world now. Like that is it. Like, are you able to use ChatGPT for this or not? Like, can we plug it in? Or did your teacher say absolutely not? Like, I'm running it through a generator.
Yeah.
And if I see that there's, AI productivity involved, you're getting a 0.
Right.
Those are conversations that teachers are having in classrooms. Like, you cannot use it.
And it might be a school policy in the future, or it might be left to the teacher. I think school policy gets really dicey. There was an article in, I think it was Boston Globe, in which case they're in upper school. You had 2 parents that sued the school for calling out AI generative material on their son's essay, which had ramifications for gaining a 0 due to plagiarism. And I think they sued because the child was in the midst of college applications, and that 1 0 kind of had a
Negative
ramification. And so I think when it's school policy driven, I think that can be really dicey, because any AI detectors are not 100% reliable. Because again, if you're tweaking what's been generated and you're making it your own, you can make the claim.
And Matt Miller actually, in his
that it is
text,
your own.
he said he did a lot of research on the generators and how effective they were, and surprisingly, they're really bad.
Yes, and they're all varied. Right?
That's right, and I shouldn't say bad. They're not necessarily bad, but
No, they all
flawed
look
to
for
an
different
extent. Like
things.
there's not a whole lot of validity from one to another.
Right.
So the overall issue with using AI in middle school is that we're really still in the early stages of this process. We need to make sure we're bringing awareness to it. We need to look at it with a little criticism when it comes to things. But overall, teachers, parents, and students, we all just need to kind of be creating these expectations for it.
We are setting the foundation.
For future generations to utilize AI in the most beneficial way they can, that produces learning, that supports understanding, that augments their understanding of the world and how they are contributing to it. But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Yes, we're not there yet.
We're getting there. Slowly. I did this was fun. I repeated, we're doing academic bowl stuff, or quiz bowl for students, and I had to come up with some trivia game that would be super, super fun. And so we looked at the most recent trivia game on TV is Floor. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's really interesting and really funny and awesome.
Okay.
Floor.
Gotta check it out.
And so, but it has a lot of fast-paced trivia questions, and it's based on individual or contestant preference on what they think they're experts in. Now, prior to AI, I would have had to done like 1 whole week of research and creating personalized trivia questions for the crazy categories my middle schoolers would have thought up. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, we got ChatGPT. So let's do that.
Yes.
And the students were, which was really interesting, they were hesitant and they didn't want to use ChatGPT. They wanted to create their own questions, which was great. But then in the heat of the game where it's so fast paced, they're like, I can't generate the amount of questions I need to keep the game going.
There's the productivity piece. It can be more productive.
Right.
But there is a time and a place for it. And I think that's where, for us as teachers, figuring out what the time and place for to use with our students is still developing.
And to sort of model that with them as well as for them, because I think, we're learning something new, and in their generation, when they're adults, they're going to learn something new too, and they're going to have to model it for the next generation, right? And so this is sort of our responsibility, guys, on modeling how to experience something new, how to work through all the pitfalls, and to
being aware of what they can access,
and being
being aware of what they can ask.
I love it. Today's advice is in collaboration with ChatGPT.
That's right. We prompted ChatGPT with basically, can you come up with an acronym to help us give advice on using AI for middle schoolers? And it gave us several different acronyms.
Yes.
AID,
Bright
AI. But we settled on Bridge. So we hope to bridge the gap in your understanding today with this helpful advice.
All right. B is build understanding. Throughout this podcast, we've been talking about how there is a gap between teacher training with AI and students' use of AI and abundant use of it, and this misplaced augmentation of learning throughout this, as well as parents, right? That may or may not be aware of the ramifications and the value of using prompting to help build a product. So the first one is to build that understanding, educating both students and teachers and parents about AI and its uses, whether that's in on a personal note in the school districts with as a school community, including thinking about its capabilities, its limitations, and the considerations regarding ethics.
Right. We just need a lot more understanding on it in general.
Yeah.
R is for reinforced skills. AI is great to help reinforce the skills that they're getting in class. So create some problems to help this skill, or come up with some other examples to reinforce this idea. Giving extra little prompts to go along with what is being learned, not necessarily replace what is being learned.
I for integrate responsibly, incorporating AI tools with thought, ensuring that they complement your curriculum or complement what's going on in the classroom and support the individual learning objectives of the students. So thinking about what best suits as teachers, thinking about what best suits your discipline and the needs. Is it what's being assessed? Is it the idea or is it the actual doing? And then if it's the idea, well, maybe AI can help. If it's the actual doing, then I wouldn't use AI for that.
D, discuss ethics. We want to engage in conversations about the ethical implications of AI with our students. We want to talk about the privacy factors, the bias that can be involved. And I think that's a really good conversation piece that we need to have with our students is, where do you think this information is coming from? And is there bias behind it when you ask certain questions? And then finally, like, what is the accountability piece? Is what you just prompted, is it your idea? Is it someone else's idea? Is there plagiarism involved? How do you tweak it to make it your own? I think all of these are going to need to be continued conversations and frameworks and boundaries placed on things so that we do know how to best support our students moving through this ethics piece.
G for guide usage, going back to Matt Miller's green light, to provide clear guidance and boundaries for when and how students can use AI in their studies, in their classroom. So to reiterate, teachers could have a framework of when and how AI can be used on certain projects or on certain assignments, and then be transparent about it in connection and communication with parents. I think, and then parents just look for those emails, look for those guidelines too, and be on the same page with the teacher on when AI can be used for certain assignments, or how it can be used for certain assignments.
E, evaluate continuously. This is still relatively new, and with all new technology, there's going to be learning curves. And sometimes there are situations that get brought up to bring about new boundaries and new laws surrounding it. So we do want to help our students learn and adapt the best we can based on their feedback, based on the effectiveness that we're seeing in class. I know sometimes using an AI tool is sometimes not worth learning the AI tool for the learning I'm trying to get to.
Do you know it's how many AI tools are out there for teachers to use?
Oh my goodness.
It is
It's overwhelming.
Obnoxiously overwhelming.
Yes.
And so
we know it's like the highlight topic because there are 50 plus programs out there that you could use as a classroom teacher.
Yeah.
So as a parent, if you notice your teacher's not using AI for some things, it's probably not because they don't want to, but they're overwhelmed with the selection of what they should do and when first.
Give them some time. And it might
If
not
you know
be
about
working,
it, offer some help. Like
yeah. Say, hey, have you tried? This is effective. But to say that everyone is continuously evaluating how best to use these tools for the sake of the student. And that is a village conversation. That is not just in a silo of the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Because what is out there can be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we do need to help our students best learn this new program that is going to be part of their future.
And they're going to create their own, chatbots if they haven't already done that, and evaluate their own works, technology as well. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. I agree.
I mean, we could have just made this whole podcast using
Notebook
LM, apparently. But here we are putting in all this work and time. I mean, just AI it all.
I don't think it would be
that's
the
gonna
same.
be the new. I should coin that phrase if it's not yet there. We're gonna AI it instead of Google it. We're gonna AI it.
Yeah, make it a verb. Make it a verb. Absolutely, I love it. Love it.
Exit ticket time. Exit ticket time. Woo! Number 1, it's just middle school. We are the pioneers in the AI evolution.
Number 2, it's just middle school. Students are learning to think for themselves, from themselves. You, as caring adults in their lives, are all the collaborative assistance they will need.
And number 3, it's just middle school. We want students to be celebrated and feel validation for what they know. We can tell the difference. Thanks for tuning in and allowing us to once again share our passion for middle school with you. Hope you enjoyed this episode of It's Just Middle School
with Sarah
and Kelly.
Join us for our last episode where we look at generational differences.
Gen Z
to Gen Alpha. Slay the day. Use AI the right way.
Woo!